Hello, everybody, and welcome into Fayetteville Public Utilities. We are here with our CEO, General Manager Britt Dye, and Britt, what a month makes. We come back in here just after a really busy weekend with an F2 tornado going right through the middle of the city on let's see, I guess it was a Friday night, Saturday morning. It was pretty devastating. Let's talk about how you found out about it and how quick we got everybody here to start working on the problems that we faced.
Well, when you start hearing on the radio, we all have radios at our house, and plus, you get plenty of phone calls letting everybody know, what's going on. But as soon as I heard the radio, we got up and we came to work, and I called some of the other guys out, and then called the supervisors to get a hold of the men to come in and go to work.
Yeah, well, when I got here, it looked like pretty much the entire crew was here. What was the first place that you realized we had a problem? Where was the first step?
It was on what we call Circuit 27, which feeds the south part of town, down around Mayberry Street, South Main, and those areas too.
Okay. So as you start a situation like that, you're trying to find out where the biggest problems are, and of course everybody knows the hospital was hit, so I'm sure that was a key concern.
Oh, that's great. We had one guy that rode around the bypass and saw that we had some poles down, but we didn't know the extent of the damage until we got up on the scene. Then we went back in there and saw that we had several poles, which actually ended up being 6 poles down around the one on the bypass, and the rest of them going up into the Lincoln County Hospital.
Well, we were also around the fairground area. I'm not sure what that street was, but we worked in that area.
Well, we had Mayberry Street right there behind the horse barns. It's, it goes down that stretch, and we had all that conductor right there tore down with a tin, got wrapped around the primary and those kinds of things and tore it down. So, that's where it started, and that was a lot of it. But we had just changed all those poles a few months back, and that's what helped us out tremendously, because I'm sure every one of them would have been laying on the ground if we hadn't have done that.
Then you were around the Fair Tire area.
We hit Fair Tire. That's where we had another pole down, a 3-phase bank pole that fed the Goodyear store up there. So, and then we had a tree on the service right there beside Raphael's on that bank of transformer. So, and then after we split crews up and knew what we had to do to get the right amount of poles to go out and work, and then we separated and got the material together and went to work.
Those kind of winds cause our traffic lights pretty big havoc. You might talk about trying to get those back up and running.
Well, when you got winds that strong, I think they said 118 miles an hour, then when you got those traffic lights, it's almost standing vertical, I guess you can say, and horizontal. But when we had some 5-ball traffic light heads, we lost 4 pieces of one big traffic light signal that we had, so we had to get something there and piece all that back together and wire it up again. So, it damages quite a bit when you got winds that strong.
Being prepared for a storm like this is something I know you work on all the time. We talk about it a lot, but just being able to have the amount of transformers and poles, you take a situation like they had in Mississippi, that would be devastating for sure, and we're very proud ours wasn't that bad, but just having the everything together to be able to take on a storm like that is you got to have a good inventory, because you just never know what's going to happen.
Well, you try to have a good inventory, but our inventory right now is tough to maintain because you can't get the material that you need to have a good inventory. We had a real good inventory back when the pandemic hit, and we were able to use a lot of that, but we kept ordering. But transformer deliveries and those kinds of things are just getting further out all the time. When you're talking about 60-week delivery on transformers, that's a long time.
Yeah. And we know you lost a few of those. We lost a few poles. And then one thing, too, Britt, you lost a steel pole. And when you think about a steel pole, or as I think about a steel pole, I'm thinking it would be stronger, but they bent over pretty easily, too.
Yeah, that tornado set right there on those, right in there where those steel poles were located. And I think we ended up having 3, I believe, maybe 4 of the steel poles. But, we couldn't get them all set that night. That goes back in there toward the little solar site out there going up the drive. But we was able to get back in there yesterday and get all that repaired.
We saw yesterday a lot of work still going on, and probably will be for a while. We also see a lot of folks with roof damage and things like that, and we got this note from the chamber to let people know that The Chamber recommends checking out their website for reputable dealers, because there's a lot of people who scamming people out there. Contact the Better Business Bureau to make sure you don't have some fly-by-night guy come in here. And we did see a lot of work going on, a lot of trees being cleaned up. But really and truly, Britt, I guess the bottom line is we were really lucky that it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
If the tornado had stayed on the ground that whole stretch, it would have been a lot worse than what it was. You know, we was very lucky, and I hope nobody got hurt to my knowledge, out there working and all those kinds of things. But, we're trained for this, and we work on this. Every month we have safety meetings every month. We go through our contingency planning all the time. And when they start calling for storms or anything, for 3 days, we make sure that we have everything on the trucks that we can think of to have on the trucks. With it being right here in town, you don't have to run too far to get something if you need it. But if you're on the far side of the county, it takes a little bit. But, we try to be prepared as we can with our contingency planning. And you can't plan for everything, but we ask ourselves a lot of what ifs. If this happened, what are we going to do? If this happened, what we're going to do? And we exercise that, every day.
Yeah, I know. The storm hit right around midnight, I think, and then by the time I got out and checked things out, you already had 5, 6, maybe 7 bucket trucks in the air working with sometimes 2 guys in a bucket. So you had the entire company in here working, and you got them here pretty quick. That was the amazing thing for me. And then knowing what to do, because a lot of times you get in a situation like that, you don't know where to start, because it's I guess they said, I think National Weather Service said it was like a 4-mile stretch. So I guess we were pretty lucky.
That's correct. And, we have our men that come in, like I said earlier, if they're calling for storms, for 2 or 3 days, they all know what to expect to be prepared for. And it don't take a whole lot to get them in here because they're dedicated and they know what it takes to get the power back on in the community. But, you take those calls and those kinds of things, but, you just get prepared for it. And then we heard Circuit 27. We call it Circuit 27. That feeds the north part of the city. And we know when 27's out on the south part, then you got 26 that feeds the north part, and we know 26 feeds the hospital around the bypass.
Yeah.
So we know that we had that operated out, through our SCADA system and our advanced meters that we have out there now, that we knew that we had a problem with the hospital not being served with power. So they got backup generators, and it took us a little while, but we went as fast as we could to get them back up and running. Yeah,
isolating the area so you can work safely. We think about your guys working in the. You had power backfed, so there was people around. It was only a small amount of people affected overall. I think you said 1,500 to 1,600 people out at the peak, but you got them back on pretty quickly. And what I'm trying to say here is, when you think about a tornado like we experienced in 2014, it affected a small amount of people in a small amount of area, and then a lot of places didn't even realize how bad it was, and because it didn't affect a wide area. And I'm sure we had that same issue the other night. A lot of people don't realize how lucky we are, number one, but how devastating it could have been, and it was to a lot of people. There's a lot of roofs gone. Fairgrounds hit pretty hard, and the hospital hit pretty hard. The hospital, we saw people coming out of the hospital with very little glass in their car. I mean, it was a serious situation.
It was, and like I said, it could have been worse if that tornado stayed on the ground. We were very lucky, and I'm just glad we had all the material and supplies that we needed to get the jobs done. It took a little while, but when you're setting 6, 7, 8 poles, and I think we ended up having like 10 poles actually that had broken, and 11 transformers, I believe, is what we had to replace on during that storm.
Wow, yeah, very costly for sure. All right, well, we're going to move on, and we're thankful and blessed that everybody, we hope, turned out okay, and we appreciate our crews for doing everything they did in your leadership. FPU granted funding for the Tennessee Economic Development Community Expansion for broadband, almost $8.8 million. That's working, and we got that people working all over the county getting that ready.
Yeah, we do, and we're waiting on our fibers to come in. We got some fiber that has come in, but based on the count is determining the area that we build, because some area might require 144 count fiber, some might require 24 count or 48 count. And that's why we're working in different areas of the county based on the fiber count that we have coming in. So still sitting there waiting on everything to come in. We're trying to go on and move with the project and get the infrastructure built.
Well, you're back to the point of getting materials in here, but you have, I guess they're contractors from Petersburg all the way, I know, to Flintville for sure. So this is a really big project for sure.
It's a big project, and we get, we're expanding through the north and northeast part of the county. Then we come back around to the east a little bit, and there's other contractors out there working too. That's some of the other service providers, and so don't get us mixed up with other contractors. Ours is Irving Contractors, and they got it on the side of the trucks, and I believe we have an FPU decal on there as well.
So as this fiber process continues, right now they're building the main line, and then at some point they will branch off to the houses. It will go to the house, and then the last step would be the final hookup. We're talking probably at least another year out, would you say?
Right. I mean, this project right here is almost a 2.5 to 3 year project.
Okay.
And so it's going to take a little time, and we hope it don't take that long. Like I said, they're going as fast as they can go, as long as we can get the material.
So we have a lot of customers out there see it, and they're done rubbing their hands ready for the high-speed internet, because even at your house, you don't have high speed, and it's very difficult these days to do school, to do work, and all the things that we do at home without internet. And that's what the government's doing here with this almost $9 million grant to help us get the fiber to the rural areas.
Right, and I've been rubbing my hands too.
Hopefully it's going to happen this time. Hopefully it's going to happen. Natural gas, April Safe Digging Month, that's coming up next week. April starts Saturday, don't it? So we want to remind people there's a lot of stuff going on. So if you're doing any digging, to call 811.
Always call 811.
Yep, and March 18th is Natural Gas Safety Workers Day, and so we want to appreciate those guys they were out working Saturday night as well, or Saturday morning, whatever time it was, and we appreciate those. And then April 10th is officially the Tennessee Line Workers Appreciation Day, and I know you're proud of that, something you've been working on for quite some time to have your official date. Well, we've been doing it for a while, but now it's official that it's across the state. It
is official, and we'll be going up to Nashville on the April the 10th, and to carry some linemen that they're going to recognize it, and and the governor's going to do a presentation, so we'll be participating in that.
And you'll be doing Hamburger Day on the Hill. You'll be meeting some of your representatives, the people you deal with. I think that's coming up this week, and then you will hopefully get to talk to these people, because these kind of relationships is what helps us get these grants.
Absolutely. We really worked hard on this Lineman's Appreciation Day, and it's a good thing that they was able to do this.
Very good. Our water and wastewater Fix a Leak Week. I didn't know there was such thing as Fix a Leak Week, March the 20th through the 26th. That's a new one on me there.
Well, that's first I heard it, Don. You just told me.
Fix a Leak Week.
I thought we fixing leaks every day.
Oh, yeah, I guess we are. We are. But anyway, so if you got a leak, let us know. If you see a leak, let us know. And it'll save you money if you got any leaks.
Save you money. But then again, we got our meters that shows excessive leaks, and we'll call the customer and let them know that your bill's going to be high due to a leak, and we'll go out and help check it out, and then let the customer know all about it.
A lot of people's very appreciative of us being able to call them and let them know that they have a leak. And somebody asked me the other day, how did we know that these people have a leak? What's the process?
The usage. We have a usage report, and we'll go through those reports to see if there's excessive usage, and then if there is, we'll let the customer know.
Call them. That's good. That's a good thing, because in the old days it'd be wait till the meter's read, then at that time you got a big bill.
That's correct.
All right. Well, our key accounts, tax-exempt customers such as churches and nonprofits can expect a letter requesting a renewal for the tax-exempt certificates, and they will expire on June 30th. And please contact Nathan Taylor at 433-1522, extension 184. If you have any questions on that, that comes around, I guess, every year.
It does.
Okay. All right. Budget billing. That's something that will help people from having high bills and low bills. That's something me and you've talked about for a long time, but it kind of smooths things out. So it helps you do a little bit better budgeting.
Right. You know, those is on fixed income especially. That helps out tremendously. So if you're interested in it, just call in and check it out, see if it'd be something you're interested in doing.
It's a free service, and it'll make your electric and natural gas manageable. That's a good word there. Generator safety. You know, when we was talking about the storms, we definitely see a lot of people jumping on generators. There was a few the other day during the tornado. We saw many in 2014, but generator safety, maybe people don't realize, but it can get a lineman killed if you don't have it right.
That's right, and it could get anybody killed, actually. You know, if you got somebody out there walking around the street or in the yard or something, you got a down power line, and if everything's not hooked up correctly and you backfeed, and then, you know, it's like putting 7,200 or 14.4 back out on the distribution line. Yeah.
And we've actually seen that out in the field, and something we look for, and the linemen look for too. But one thing they do is ground the line to keep that, hopefully, will help them from kind of isolates them a little bit, right?
That's right. And, you know, they're always supposed to ground, wear rubber gloves. You know, we got all our safety rules we got to follow, but you also got to be aware of the solar farms too. You know, if something's not hooked up right, we could have the same kind of problem.
Absolutely. One thing that we also talk about too in generator safety is if you've got that thing hooked up near the garage or in the garage or on the front porch where the carbon monoxide can get back in the house, it will kill you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we want everybody to be real careful generator safety, especially with these April storms coming around. You know, when we start thinking about storms from 1952 to 74 to 2014 and all the other ones we've had, you know, the key thing is these storms are kind of this time of year, but you just never know when they're liable to pop up, you know.
That's correct. You know, and right now it's early to have the weather that we're having, and you know, the weather forecasters are saying the climate has changed so much you don't know what to expect or when. So, and it has changed quite a bit. So,
for sure.
You know, they're talking about storms again this weekend. We hope it's not too bad, but we'll face it as it comes.
That's right. You just have to be prepared. You know, it's like not the matter of when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen, it's when. So we have to be prepared and be ready. One thing I know you're really proud of is our Student Utility Board. We work with them from all the schools here locally, and we want to let everybody know that if your child or grandchild is going to be a senior next year, you look at the applications there at the school, and each school, we have 3 students will come from Lincoln County High School, 3 from Fayetteville High School, and 1 from RCA. And the application deadline is April 28th, and the schools pick our students that we get. And, man alive, we've had some really good ones over the last 13 years or so.
Yeah, they all been great, and I'm very proud of the Student Utility Board. You know, it gives the young adults something to really look forward to. You know, there's a lot more females becoming line workers these days, and it's a career that a lot of them haven't really thought about doing, but, you know, it's becoming more and more every day of female line workers.
I can see that, and you know, it's meticulous work, and you got to focus and concentrate, and you can't make any mistakes. A mistake will get you killed out there. So anyway, but we've had I don't know how many. We've had a few Student Utility Board members become employees here, so I know that makes you proud.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they're very, very interested in seeing what we do and take part in it. And we have one now that's in college. It's doing it virtual sometimes with us, and pays off a lot. And, you know, if you need an opportunity or maybe a career move, or come down and we'll talk to you about it, see if you're interested.
One thing, one of the very important jobs here at FPU is our dispatchers, and I commend our dispatchers. Did an excellent job during the storm, because when this happens, a dispatcher here, when everybody's calling, letting them know the power's out, they have so much going on. They have to call people in, answer the phone call, and then watch the SCADA at the same time. And it's a good job. When that hits, then you've got to be really back to focused and concentration, because it's just a lot going on.
Well, the dispatchers got a lot of pressure. Like you said, when you go to answering phones from cause of the outages happening. But at the same time, they're in here operating the SCADA system, and it's very, very important that they concentrate on, like if I ask them to open up a breaker and be sure it's open before we pop grounds on the line and those kinds of things, they got to make sure they got the right circuit open. They got to make sure that it is checked open. So they have a lot of pressure, you know, in getting things done the way that we ask for them to be done. But they're trained really good. It takes a while. to do that training, but you don't want to open up something that's not the right circuit.
Another thing that you ask for from time to time, including Saturday morning, was ask for an A switch. You might explain what that is.
Or A switch is what puts the equipment in a one close. So, if we have somebody that gets into the power line with the A switch and what we call non-reclose, that means that the breaker is not supposed to close back on the line.
Okay.
So that's the difference of which if you put the A switch back normal, that means it's going to go through its normal operations. If you get into the line, it's going to close and open, close and open, close and open, where if we say non-reclose, it's only supposed to open up and stay open.
One time, yeah, that's good. All right, so a lot going on back there in dispatch, and that happens anytime there's a power outage. And if people call in, that's who you're going to be calling. We do have people most of the time coming in to help them when a storm hits, and it's going to be a while. But she's also got to call people in, or he or she got to call people in, and then also take care of the lineman as well. All right, well, Britt, we're going to have Good Friday coming up on April the 7th. That's when we'll be closed here. But we're still available. Like I said, we talked about the dispatch. Those people are here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long, and we really appreciate what they do.
Yeah, they do a great job. All our employees do a great job.
Yep. And if there's any kind of outage or problem, you can look on Smart Hub. You can see the outage management system. You might talk a little bit about that. That's something I know we're proud of here, but the public now can see where the outages are.
That's correct. If your power's not out, you can see where the outages are located, but you got to give it time to update after you get somebody back on, and then the number of the customer count goes down each time that we re-energize. So just give it a little bit of time to update, and you'll be able to see actually what's going on.
Yeah, we actually saw that, Kim and I, the other night. We could see what was showing on outage management and what was showing here, and we saw the numbers going down all the time, which is a really, really nice thing. It's technology is amazing. It's come a long way in your 40, how many ever years it's been? How many years?
Long time.
Long time. And one thing about it is our CEO was out with the guys working, and we got to appreciate that as well. All right, Britt, anything else that we didn't cover? We went long today, but I wanted to cover everything about the storms from this weekend.
I don't have anything. Just be patient. If your power goes out, just give us time to get your power restored, or any other utility, the gas, water, telecom. But it takes time. You got to follow safety rules. Adds a little bit more time, but we'll get you back on as soon as we can.
CEO General Manager Britt Dye. He has been on the program this morning, and we will see you back in here next month for another edition of the program. Thank you.